and good evening to one and all present here for the webinar. A very, very happy Engineers Day. And today, on behalf of SEEK, we have organized an extraordinary session with an extraordinary guest to talk about the contributions of engineers in the society. As today is a very important day for engineers, we would like to discuss with a successful engineer and also the roles and responsibilities of engineers in the society. So he is our special guest, engineer Er.Pyush Dogra from Delhi. He is a senior environmental specialist from World Bank, and he happens to be my batchmate in UG. We both studied engineering from Annamalai University in the year 1985-89. And today we are going to meet him and discuss about the contributions of engineers to the society. Before that, I would like to wish you all once again a very, very happy Engineers Day. A world without engineer, how do we feel about it? It's like a bike without wheels. India is proud of the contribution of our engineers towards nation building. The birth anniversary of Sir Mokshagundam Vishweshwaraya, one of the India's finest engineers, is celebrated as Engineers Day in India every year. He was popularly known as Sir M.V. Vishweshwaraya, and he was an Indian civil engineer, a reputed statesman, and the 19th Diwan of Mysore from 1912 to 1919. He was conferred India's highest honor, that is the Bharat Ratna, in the year 1955 and knighted as a Knight Commander of the British Indian Empire by King George V. Sri M.V. was the chief engineer of Krishna Rajasagar Dam in the northwest suburb of Mysuru city and also served as one of the chief engineers of the flood protection systems for Hyderabad. The September 15th in India is celebrated as Engineers Day as a tribute to Sir Mokshagundam Vishweshwaraya. The day is celebrated to recognize the honor, the efforts of engineers whose innovations and ideas have made the lives of humans easier. And still, a lot more to see what engineers are going to do to solve and resolve all the problems existing in the entire world. He also designed the unpatented, the automatic wear water floodgates first installed at the Kadakwasla Reservoir in Pune in 1903. He transformed the Mysore state into what was then known as model state. Known world over for his contribution to harnessing water resources, Vishweshwaraya Sir was among other things responsible for the building and consolidation of dams across the country. He is also credited with inventing the block system, automated doors that close in the conditions of overflow. So this is what is about the Engineers Day and why do we celebrate Engineers Day. And all engineers, we all should feel proud that we have an opportunity to contribute to the world's needs. And today we are going to have a wonderful human being and a successful engineer, Er.Pyush Dogra. And right now, presently, he is a senior environmental scientist at World Bank. And Piyush Dogra has been a core member of global practice of environmental and natural resource since 2007. He joined the bank with 14 years of experience in public health engineering and hydropower sectors in the mountain ecosystems of Himachal Pradesh, India. And he did his B civil engineering from Annamala University in the year 1985 and 89. And he did his PG MTech in environmental engineering from IIT Delhi in the year 1997 to 1999. And Piyush Dogra, a civil and environmental engineer by training, is currently working as senior environmental specialist in Delhi office World Bank. Piyush has applied his technical knowledge in leading the environmental safeguards work on hydropower and water resources for the India program and has contributed the bank's dialogue on the core sectors of energy, water resources, agriculture, and environmental management. Through his skills and ability, Piyush has grown to become a reliable sector expert in water resources, including hydropower, watershed management, water supply, and irrigation and sustainability issues. Over the past years, Piyush has taken a more significant role in the hydropower sector, in the energy sector, and also on green growth agenda, which supports a transformational shift towards green growth and low carbon growth in key sectors of the economy, including power, especially hydro, and industrial development, tourism, and rural development. Piyush has also contributed in hydro sustainability by leading dialogue on basin-wide catchment area treatment, cumulative impact assessments, and hydro sustainability in India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. I would like to welcome our beloved and honorable guest speaker, Piyush. We are very, very proud to know that as a true engineer, you have applied your technical knowledge in leading the safeguards work on hydropower and water resource for India program. And you have also contributed to the bank's dialogue on the core sectors of energy, water. So a very, very warm welcome, Mr. Piyush Dogra. To the audience, once again, I would like to introduce Mr. Piyush Dogra. He's a Senior Environmental Specialist at World Bank. So welcome to our webinar and a very, very happy Engineers Day, Mr. Piyush.
Thanks, Usha. Very happy Engineers Day to you too, and to all community. Not only to community, I will say to whole nation as such, because engineers are the builders of the nation. Thanks for inviting me here.
We are very much honored to have you. You are an apt guest for us for today's Engineers Day celebration in our SEEK webinar. And many people have a different definition and meaning for engineers than the days where we studied. So how do you think the engineers should be viewed as? Because we are celebrating an Engineers Day, definitely there's some importance in that. But as a profession, or when somebody picks up a course on engineering, it is now looked at, if they don't get any other branch, they go and take up engineering. So it has become so low valued, and also they feel that they don't get jobs. So as an engineering graduate, we all know how much it was difficult to get a seat those days. You know, like getting an engineering seat itself is something like we have achieved something great. That was the feeling we had, and we were really happy studying engineering and feel ourselves as an engineer. We really felt what engineering is. But now what is that is lacking, and I want you to motivate the students and make them understand that the entire nation or the entire world is dependent on the engineering minds, because all the problems whatever we have worldwide can be resolved by the engineers of various departments or various faculty they are in. So I feel there's a big responsibility for engineers to build up the nation and bring back the greener in our society. So I would like you to throw a light on that and encourage and motivate and tell the real meaning of an engineer.
Great, Usha. It's really a tough question in one sense, because you have to pass through the whole scenario which we faced and where we are today. But it's very pertinent to today's day. A reason for which is very clear. And you very rightly and aptly described that when we joined, say 30 years back as young engineers in the college, the whole scenario was different. Even at home, when we went to join an engineering college, there were sweets distributed. And when we studied in engineering college, we were welcomed like anything. When we were interacting with our staff members or interacting with each other, it was entirely a different view, different phenomena, different discussion. Because there was also passion. I must say that there was a passion to go to engineering college, to take a particular branch, and to work in that particular branch. That whole scenario is being missed now. Our kids or our children are also becoming ready for going to engineering college. They might have passed out also, some of them, but the whole focus now has gone into job scenario. So if you ask anybody in engineering college which branch will you take, direct answer will be computer science. I agree that computer science has its positivities and many contributions, but the core engineering is very important if we really have to develop nation as such. Not only nation, as you rightly said, world is asking for engineers' contribution. And to tell you very frankly, working in this UN organization, which is multilateral, we work across the nations. I work in Nepal, India, Pakistan, and also go to US and Singapore and other places, Korea. I have seen, the engineering, wherever we have seen people, leave aside South Asia, but other countries, engineering is really regarded as a great profession. And that should be, because, if you talk to other, if you compare with economics, it's purely on model base. So they are modeling. Now you have to help them in giving that direction, that particular model should come out with greater perspective on particular subject. For example, if a model is to be developed for, say, air quality, your inputs are equally important. Inputs of a chemical engineer, inputs of a civil engineer, input of a mechanical engineer, input of an electrical engineer. This whole combination is needed to develop that model which can see air quality management. And air quality is one of the greatest discussion point these days, even in India and abroad. So what I want to convey here, Usha, and that is very clear, that every branch has its contribution. Every engineering branch has its contribution. We have to stick to our passion, that whether we have to learn and contribute, or we have to look for job and money. No, job and money is not everything. So when I was studying in engineering in Annamalai University, in the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, so my clear dream was to become a civil engineer. I did a civil engineering from there, but later I did DemTech, Masters in Technology and Environmental Engineering, shifted many jobs, and finally I've reached to a place where it's purely environmental engineering, contribution to the society and contribution to the development of the nation. So you don't know your career, how it moves ahead. It's only thing is your focus. You should focus on on not only on engineering, but beyond that. You have to focus on the humanity part of it. You have to focus on the society, how to serve the society and how to bring out that change in society which can contribute and which can appreciate engineers' contribution. We remember and we salute on this Engineers Day, Vishwasaraiya ji. Now, Vishwasaraiya ji's contribution is not only dam creation, but see the prosperity that dam has brought in the whole Karnataka region. Krishna Sagar Dam has contributed hugely on the development of society, interactions, interpersonal relationship, all those things. So it's not engineering. Its contribution is manifold. It's a social engineering in one sense. So my message to young students is that they should focus on engineering, whatever engineering they have. It's not necessarily that they have to uh, they have to work on that particular engineering which is which is computer science or something which they want, but any engineering, do it with passion, do it with multifold learning. Not only that engineering, so that see that engineering from other angle, how that engineering will contribute in rural development, how that engineering will contribute into transmissions and distribution systems of nation, and how it can be improved. So that your magnanimous character to bring to look at overall picture in a better society will help you in understanding and engineering in a much better way. So I'll ask all the young engineers to focus more on the positivity side of it, contribute more and more to the society, think about the new directions, innovate, and improve your engineering skills in whatever engineering branch you're doing that engineering. I'll stop here, Usha.
Very nicely explained, Piyush. And the way they study also, I want you to brief about, because I used to really admire you, the way you used to top in your class and the way you dedicate yourself whenever you write your exams, or the entire course of 4 years of engineering, like it was something like we learn. It's not the studying part. We learn something, we know how to apply them, and it was something like we absorb whatever has been taught, and all our professors used to explain the concepts, and we used to go to library, take books and read. We had a lot of reading habit, and all those things are missing nowadays. Everybody is in the by hearting concept, and they just study for the sake of exam, and they are unable to apply whatever they study. So as an engineer, I think only if they pick up the concepts of the engineering whatever has been taught, and if they can apply it on a real life situation, they can call themselves as an engineer. So how did you study, and how was it like, how it, when you started applying it in your work, how it helped?
So Usha, you're very right, because those 4 years are really golden period of your time, because you won't get that time to study in depth or to understand concept, because you are right in front of your gurus. So whatever you want to know, whatever you want to understand, you can go back to them, ask them. But currently the trend is more and more use of YouTube's lectures and other thing. No problem, that's also another positive thing, because you get everything on open learning campus through YouTube's, and your concepts become more and more clearer. I think that is what is needed for an engineer, for a budding engineer, that you should spend more time in reading books, understanding concepts, by whatever way you can study, or you can see those YouTube videos, or open learning campus or internships, and develop yourself during those four years period. You will get ample of time what where you can study, go back to your teacher, ask those concepts, and apply those concepts, and see that how this concept can be used. Not necessarily a electronic concept cannot be used in a civil engineering. It can be, or a civil engineering concept cannot be used in a mechanical engineering. It can be, but that's the thinking, that's the creativity, which as an engineer we expect that young engineers or young students should learn during that period. What we used to do was a very simple time, and I think as Usha pointed out, spent most of the time in libraries, and used to prepare notes. And then whenever doubts are there, we are always with our teachers, and we had such a good relationship with our teachers. It was, just like, elders, because I was all the way from Himachal. I was there in Annamalai University campus, Chidambaram, which is quite far off in Tamil Nadu. But I never realized that I am in a new place, whether it's friends or your teachers. They were like your elders. So you go back to them. If you will go back to your teacher, he or she will appreciate your attitude, and they will come twice closer to you. That's the way teachers are. Teachers are must be regarded like that, and they are, because they still, we are in touch of many of our teachers, and the way they meet us, it's really a time which you can only appreciate. So uh, my message to young engineers or young budding engineers who are studying is that devote your time much and more and more, and thoroughly on the subjects of your choice, and study, interact with your teachers, see what internationally these things are happening, see good practices using these kind of research thesis, and try to bring in all those concepts in Indian context, that how can you serve society in India much better way learning these techniques. So I'll this is what I think Usha one should do.
Okay. In World Bank, you're now a senior environmental scientist. So, what are your roles and what are the different vision and mission of World Bank in bringing or growing back greener to our country?
Oh, this is, I'm thankful, Usha, that you have asked such a nice question, because this is a question which is very close to my heart. And when you talk about World Bank, I will say that, bank has a mandate, and bank has a very different mandate when it comes to serving the society. Generally, if you see multilateral organization, the concept is that they are there for giving loans to a country, but it's not. It's basically the World Bank is regarded as a knowledge bank, and it has four core values. It's that we help our client countries to solve their greatest development challenges. Second, whatever we should do, that is integrity. Whatever we should do it right. Third is respect. We care for our people, our client, our partners, and our planet. And teamwork. We work together to achieve our goals. And innovation. We learn and adapt to find better ways of doing things. So these are five principles based on this World Bank organization grows, and it help us in growing ourselves also. So with these core concepts, we work in a team and start working with the countries wherever we are working. And aim is to reduce poverty. So we help in reducing poverty, and for to reduce that poverty, what we can do, we can involve ourselves in various projects of those countries where the new innovations or changes are required. So we work in rural development, to transport, to education, to energy, to environment, to roads. So that way, across the portfolio we work and try to bring in more and more transparency, so that the last mile connectivity, or the last person who has to get the benefit should get that benefit. And that's one of the important aspect of working in World Bank organization, uh, Usha. You're right. You have also asked about how greener and other aspects are taken care in bank. Bank is an institution where environment and social concerns are taken very, very seriously. And every project is screened through environmental consideration. Every project. So therefore, my role is not confined to one project, but across the projects of our portfolio. And we screen all projects with respect to the impacts of any impacts or adverse impacts which are coming. If they are coming, then what can be the mitigation measures? So environmental screening and environmental management is taken care through every bank project. So this is how we bring greener element into it. Looking at current pandemic, which you have rightly pointed out, that greening economy, that's where the focus is, and World Bank is focusing with Government of India on this. We have already worked on health sector project of $1 billion to work to sustain this pandemic and move further on health sector improvement and PPE kits and other things, and also overall community health workers training and other things. On greener side, we are also working on taking examples from rehabilitation work, which US and Korea has done at one point of time through forest sector engagement. So what we are doing there is, it happened in Korea. Korea faced not a pandemic, but two severe such kind of depression. One was of 1960 and 70 when they faced war, and then in 97, 1998 when they again financial crisis, they suffered financial crisis. But they brought in the forest sector as a major role carrier to bring jobs to the local people. They used huge plantation work, huge catchment area treatment, soil and water conservation measures, which are very particular to the village atmosphere. So that villages, the communities at the village level get jobs, they get livelihood, and at least the revival of the economy can also take place. So that was one approach. There was also approach in US, where during 1930, there was Great Depression which took place in US. But he also used, a quick employment for the young man across the country through conservation works on public lands and using forestry activities. They used all these activities and also trained the skills of people on forestry, forest guides, tracking, and other skills, so that people can come visit tracks where guides are available. Young people, young student or young boys or girls, they can take them to various places, introduce them to various varieties of greening, and those jobs were created. So I was correlating, these days we are into discussions with government of India on this, and we were relating this, all these US and Korea examples with greening public works program in India. For example, MG and NRAGA, Mahatma Gandhi Rural Guarantee Scheme. There also we are creating jobs. Now many migrants have gone back. Those migrants were working in city, so those have gone back to their own home state and no work. So why not to be involved proactively in these greening areas and forestry related works, or Manrega related work, or natural resource management related work, and give them employment so that the economy comes back to the original position, which is suffering currently due to this pandemic. So these are few ideas where we are working these days.
So I was also on an opinion that bank is only for giving funds and giving loans, but really you've thrown a big picture about what are all the different solutions the bank projects give for the world's problems. And also the 5 points, principles, whatever you mentioned, I think they are the human values which generally everyone should follow. I think that is completely been followed by your World Bank. The initially you're talking about the integrity, the innovation and teamwork and other, like the ethics and morals, what you follow, like that was wonderful, really good. And definitely. So what do you expect the post pandemic, like what sort of initiatives additionally you people will be taking?
So situation is bad, but now we have to recover. So if we have to recover, we have to see all the operations and how we can bring in positivity on those operations. So we are looking at all the infrastructure work. There we are bringing occupational health and safety as one of the important issue. How to tackle that, and how, when labor will be there, how they should work in that atmosphere, so that they don't get any problem with respect to pandemic. Similarly, on other water and watershed related work, we are looking at it, that how we can oversee those projects using remote technologies, so that field visits can be avoided, and you can get whole scenario of those projects through remote sensing. We are also introducing digital technology more and more, and also disruptive technologies, so that we can bring in more innovation into all the projects and track them for better implementation part. So we are focusing on implementation. We are also focusing on preparation. So on preparation, I told you, on health system, we are working on a project. We are working on MSME projects, where there also we are more working toward resource efficiency and greening MSMEs. So overall, again, the message is same, Usha, that engineering is important, and engineer is equally important. So it's not that your contribution is only in public works department or water supply departments. You have immense potential to contribute for the society in any of the institution you work. And this is how I feel really honored to work in the organization like World Bank, where it's a knowledge come field experience, and it's beyond comparison. Usha. Thanks.
Really, even the World Bank should be very happy and see you as an asset to the organization with such good knowledge and dedication towards your work. And thank you so much, Piyush, for your wonderful uh, thoughts, and also the time what you have provided. I think you are mentioning about the digital technologies which you are adopting. I mean, all those disruptive technologies. So now we are forced to do that. Though we keep talking that a lot of new technologies coming in, Internet of Things is coming in, remote sensing, sensors, all those things are there. But we were so hesitant to bring into our ways. Like we are very comfortable with the conventional way of working. Only if you go physically do a checking, like you're more comfortable and you feel satisfied. Now that you can't do that, then we are making use of all those digital technologies, and even now we are able to meet only through this Zoom, which would not have been possible earlier because you can't travel
Correct.
just like that. So all the technologies are not it's definitely going to add value, and it's going to reduce your time consumption and also to give better results. And it's nice that the time has come where we can look on the positive side of what we have learned and how we are going to develop ourselves. And that is how we have to take it forward, because certain things which are not changeable, we need to accept. We need to go with what is available, and maybe that is also for good. And it takes time to adjust, that's all. And I'm very happy to have you here today for our webinar. And once again, I wish you all a very, very happy Engineers Day. Thank you, Piyush. We'll meet once again with a good panel discussion on the green engineering in detail. Thank you, Piyush.
Thank you so much, Ushaa. Thank you. Thanks for calling.